Hello and welcome to Mindful Living, where we explore the art of living with the intention, balance, and inner peace. I am Avik, your host, guiding you through conversations on health, meditation, mental well being, mindfulness, and the mind body connection. Each episode features expert insights to help you grow, heal, and thrive. So, take a deep breath, relax, and join us on this journey to a more mindful and fulfilling life. So, let's get started.
Welcome, listeners, to the Mindful Living podcast, where we explore practices that help you live a more conscious and empowered life. I'm your host, Sana, and today we have a special guest with us, Alan Carroll, an educational psychologist specializing in transcendental psychology and the founder of Alan Carroll and Associates. Alan has spent over 30 years, helping individuals tame their ego through mindful speaking. His expertise lies in transforming how people speak and think, not only at a professional level, but also in their everyday lives by reducing the psychological suffering caused by the ego. And he has worked with major corporations worldwide, helping thousands of individuals unlock their potential by using mindfulness tools to transcend fear and anxiety, especially in public speaking. And today, on this episode, we will dive into how we can tame the tongue of the ego through the practice of mindful, spacious speaking. So, Alan, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the show, and it's an absolute honor to have you with us.
Blessings to you and your audience.
Great. Alan, so you have had a remarkable career blending psychology, mindfulness, and communication. So, if you could tell us a little bit about your journey and how you discovered the connection between mindful speaking and also reducing psychological suffering.
Definitely the word discovery along the journey is a good word to use because in the beginning, I knew nothing about what I discovered later on. I will share with you that in my teenage years, one of my favorite books was The Autobiography of a Yogi, the story of Paramahansa Yogananda. And boy, I tell you, that really changed some of the circuits in my brain because he talks about things that happened in India that were far, far beyond anything that I've experienced in the United States. My career in college, I was attracted to psychology because that was the inner journey. You want to discover yourself, psychology was the path. Then later on, I was always attracted to the metaphysical conversations, the space conversations, and therefore I got involved with Werner Erhardt's S training back in the 70s, and I learned how to stand up in front of audiences, and I was terrified. And unless you go through that terrified experience, you don't really get salvation. You don't really break through. So public speaking is a great place to experience the terror. And then after watching, working for corporations, you want to make a difference. And it turned out there's only one thing you have to do. And so I'm going to change the way I speak now. And we will have your listeners listen to the words that I speak now. And then you can watch before or listen to how I spoke before. And you'll notice that the words per minute have been reduced. Average words per minute is about 125 to 175 words per minute. And I'm probably doing a little bit less than 100 words per minute. And I'll even go down a little further, down to maybe 30 words per minute. And the difference is between the speeds what is the difference between the speeds? What is there when I go slow that's not there when I talk very fast?
So when
So
you're
when you look, go ahead. You have an idea, Sana?
I believe so. When you're speaking slowly, it means you are giving it more of gravity, more seriousness, and a thought. A feeling is associated. But when you're speaking fast, of course, it's giving a signal to the listener or the person who is listening to you that you don't care about anyone else. You're just blabbering, you're just going through, you're speaking very fast, you are a little bit maybe frazzled or something like that. That's what I think.
Excellent. That's exactly the idea of articulation. Articulate. How do you articulate your thought? The slower you speak, the more time you have to think about how do I want to take the concept that's in my mind and I want to bring it out into the outer world as a thought form. And I'm going to show the form of that thought in if I can, in a three-dimensional manner, or at least talking, if I don't have visuals to help me. And the more time I have to think about that, definitely the quality of the image, the quality of the thought form will have greater impact because you're taking more time to structure it in consciousness. So you have the benefit is clarity. The benefit is, like, when I'm speaking, there won't be any. Well, I really find the differences. So now you hear those filler words, the ahs and the ums. Right away, that doesn't sound too professional. But when you begin to slow down, the ahs and ums disappear. Another benefit, which is, there's a lot of big benefits here, but a number one benefit is that if the speed of your thoughts that you speak, your words per minute is too fast, your breathing is poor. And breathing and speaking, breathing and singing, breathing and reciting anything requires, energy in the lungs that's going to be pushed out. And most people are shallow breathers, Sana. They only take in maybe 500 milliliters of oxygen when they could take in 300 milliliters of oxygen. Oxygen is the prana, it's the energy in the air. So if you could stop more between the sounds that you speak, you open up this portal to energy that will just fill your body. And I can't say the most important, but I'll say the most important. The most important thing is that in order to control the timing, reducing the rate and pace of my delivery, I need to be in present time. I can't be thinking about, what I'm going to have for dinner today. No. I have to be here. I'm not thinking about the future, not thinking about the past. I'm thinking about inserting an empty space between the sounds that I'm speaking. And I got to be in present time. So in the mindfulness business, we're always looking for, well, what mindfulness things can you do in order to become more mindful? One thing you can do is get control of your tongue. And when you get control of your tongue, you're able to consciously speak when I want to speak. I can pause. I can stop when I want to stop. So I control the rate and the pace of the speaking. I have to be in present time. And you look at professional speakers, whether they be actors or politicians or trainers or whoever, you'll notice that the differentiation is the ability to control time. And it's like, it takes training to do, because now we're going to get into the who do you speak for? Because that's the question. All right, I'm speaking to you right now. All right, well, who am I speaking for? And people would say, Sana, well, I speak for me. Okay, well, who is me? Well, me is Eckhart Tolle would talk about the conceptual identity, all the concepts that you use to describe who you are. I am Alan, I'm a body, I'm an American, I'm a football player, I'm a this, I'm a that, I am. So all those I am things that you consider yourself to be, put a circle around that, and that becomes your egoic conceptual identity. I am is your consciousness. There is no form around I am, but there's a form around everything that you are. And forms disappear, but the I am doesn't disappear. So most people think that they're speaking for their ego. Their ego is their identity. And you speak with a pattern. There's a pattern. Your voice to me is unique. There's AI could listen to every voice on the planet, and they could pick out everyone has a different pattern. And so when you can consciously disrupt the pattern that's been accumulated over your lifetime, you're disrupting the pattern of the ego's tongue. And when you can disrupt the pattern of the ego's tongue, you wake up. You wake up to the fact that you're not the ego. Because I was able to stop the ego's tongue. And when I can stop the ego's tongue, love will pour. Love and joy and bliss will just flow into that empty space. Because the suffering is caused by the ego. The suffering is not caused by the Divine Mother. When you stop speaking, the voice of the Divine Mother can be heard. But you got to stop speaking for the ego, because that creates the noise that cancels out the voice of the Divine Mother. So the stillness, the meditation, the relaxing, the closing of the eyes, the yoga, all that to ground yourself in order to hear the voice of the Divine Mother.
Definitely. So, Alan, for many people, public speaking, it brings anxiety. How does practicing mindful, spacious speaking transform the way we approach public speaking? And how does it help us to cultivate a sense of, deeper sense of presence and calm?
Been doing the workshops and training around the world 40 years, thousands of students, and not one student on day one shows up and stands up and has any awareness that there is a space between the sounds that they speak. And I just want to deviate a little bit. And when I consciously, Sana, create the space, we'll call it a pause, between the sounds that I'm speaking, you cannot see that space. You can't hear it. You can't touch it. You can't feel it. And you can't smell it. That empty space between the sounds that I speak is metaphysical. And so space is the fifth element: earth, air, fire, water, and space. Space is the mother of the forms of earth, air, fire, and water. So things come from the emptiness. They don't come from something, they come from the emptiness. So I'm able, and so are you, to begin to practice pausing between the sounds that you speak, and you will notice an immediate wave of relaxation. Because when I speak, it's forcing energy out. I'm tightening up my energy, and I'm pushing it out. And when I stop, I'm relaxing, I'm breathing. There's a flow of energy. And so I'm no longer firing my bullets of sound. I'm inhaling my breaths of the divine, the healing breaths of the divine to calm the energy down, to get me centered again and balanced again in that empty space. Because now I have a choice. When I am able to pause, I now have a choice of take a breath, Alan. Sure, you can take a breath now. Ground your feet, smile. You can do all sorts of things now, because now I have a choice. With you don't control time, you don't have a choice. You're on automatic pilot. But when you control time, you have a choice. And very shortly, students realize through coaching, but without the coaching, go to a mirror. And the phrase that we use in the training is 24 sounds. I am a professional speaker. Why? Because I can speak when I want to speak, and I can stop when I want to stop. So those are 24 sounds. Go in front of a mirror, take your iPhone or your Android, and time yourself. How long does it take for you to read that? And probably it will take maybe 7 or 8 seconds to read it normally. It will take 3 seconds to read it fast. And it might take 30, 40, 50 seconds to read the same sentence. But just practice doing that, because the creation of the space can be done by children. It can be done by myself. It can be done by you. It can be done by your listeners. It just takes practice. And every time you create a space, you are asking the fifth element. You're creating the fifth element in consciousness, and you're becoming more spacious. You're actually increasing the amount of space that you've consciously created in your life by putting spaces between the sounds that I speak. And that would take, I would say, within an hour, anyone who wants to practice it could begin to realize, oh, and then dedicate some time, 5 minutes, just practice it until you feel comfortable pausing. Do it in front of a mirror by yourself. So and then what you'll notice is that you are now able to weave in empty spaces more. You have more control of your emotions. You have more control of your mental thoughts. You have more control of your physical body. You are more grounded and more centered. And those things are automatic. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to take a class. Of course, we'd like to do trainings, but you don't have to go to a college class to learn this. You can just do it in front of a mirror and then do it in front of a friend and expand out. And one of the great organizations around the world is Toastmasters. I've done Toastmasters. It's another way you can practice your speaking skills. That's another outlet.
Lovely, Alan. Well, before we wrap up, you have traveled to over 60 countries and worked with major corporations. How have you seen these practices change the lives of individuals on both a professional and personal level?
You're right. It does affect people personally because it's very healing to the mind. So you begin to heal your mental thoughts. Professionally, if you are able to stand up in front of an audience, if you're able to stand up on a podcast, if you're able to stand up on a Twitter space, if you're able to stand up and clearly articulate your thoughts, you are unique. Because most people don't have control of time when they speak. And if you don't have control of time, the quality of your speaking will not inspire people. But when you control the time, then... So I would recommend that when I watch all the people around the world, is have them begin to control the time because the suffering comes from the ego. And so you stop saying things that are attack thoughts. You stop vibrating the air that way. And the last thing I'd like to close with, because he said we're about done, is that the big choice is you get to choose between the ego's point of view. The ego is in competition with the Divine Mother's point of view, or the Holy Spirit's point of view. Holy Spirit says we're all together as one. The ego says, no, we're separate, and I need to get as much as I can to make me happy. Well, the ego's path has caused a lot of human suffering, and the divine path causes a lot of love. And so you get to choose in that pause. How do I want to express my defense of my point of view, or my love from my heart? And that would include compassion. And so you could choose. But if you can't pause, you can't choose, and you're on automatic, and most people's automatic leads to suffering.
Definitely. Superb. Alan, that was really very, very insightful and profound conversation, connecting public speaking with taming the ego and a very unique concept, mindful spacious. So thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing such deep insights and powerful tools with all of us today. And it's clearly evident your work in transforming how we speak, no matter it's professional or personal, and how we connect with our true selves first. It's incredibly inspiring. So thank you.
Wonderful. It really is connecting to our true self when you begin to pause, because the true self is there waiting to waiting to play. But the ego is saying, no, I'll do it my way. But so I love what you say. I love sharing my thoughts with you, and it flows through me. It really is not from me. It flows through me. So bless you all again, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. And listeners, before we wrap up, Alan, I just missed that part out. If our listeners want to explore how you are leveraging powerful tools such as mindful spaciousness in managing, handling how we speak, whether it's publicly or personally, how they can connect.
Well, wrote a book called The Broadband Connection, The Art of Delivering a Winning IT Presentation, where I take these concepts and I weave it into the corporation's language, so it's It shows quickly. ACAmindfulyou.com is the website. That's a way of connecting with me. And I'm on the podcast, the Mindful You podcast. I host the Mindful You podcast. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter.
Great.
And these will also be in the show notes. So it's...
Yes, it will be there, definitely. Well, Alan, thank you so much. And listeners, thank you to everyone. And if you want to explore more about Alan's workshops and the practice of mindful speaking, you can find him referring the show notes along with this episode on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time, take a mindful pause, tame the tongue of the ego, and speak from a place of presence. Thank you to everyone.